Hello friends. What an amazing summer I had. It was incredible, and I just wanted to fill you in on what's been going on and how I've been doing. And it's really honestly just been off and on. And my husband and I, we got down to Oklahoma and hung out there for a while. My husband is Native American, and we were headed to his dances, and we experienced some stress down there just with our marriage, just going through, just difficulties. We've been very, oh my gosh, just bombarded, I guess, with medical bills and all kinds of things. And my husband hasn't been able to work due to the severe seizure condition. And and he doesn't drive, which causes me to have to, be the driver. And so that's a lot of fun when dealing with a woman driver and you're the husband and such. And then when you're an independent woman like myself, but I will have to say that driving is very difficult for me. I've never really hated driving. I enjoy it more, I guess, and more, but it is very difficult on my body, and it's become more so difficult in the last year. It's stressful. It can be enjoyable, but this trip really stressed my body out, I will have to say. We went to Oklahoma, we drove back to Texas, and then we drove on to Idaho. We were headed up through New Mexico and Colorado and all the way up to Grand Tetons, Idaho side, Driggs, Idaho. It was just fantastic. We went and hung out with some of my husband's friends and camped out, lived like hippies for 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. And but all the way down through Colorado when we and through New Mexico, my body was just a wreck, an absolute wreck. And we had fully intended to drive about 6 hours and stop off, find a fire road somewhere, and camp. That's not quite what happened. Of course, we couldn't find a fire road. We couldn't find anywhere to camp. And so after about 10 hours of driving, and my stomach was just sometimes what happens to me is my chest and my stomach will pull in, so it's like I'm being pulled into fetal position. It's very strange, and it's very annoying. And what it does is it puts a lot of pressure on my lungs. I've noticed it's hard for me to breathe. I'm driving this way, folks. This is no good. So anyway, finally I pull over and I'm just like, I am done. I can barely. It's a lot of times, like my eyes will flutter and stuff, and it's just nerve-wracking, and my neck start going like this, and I have this crunch that goes up the back of my head and through my skull, and so it's very disorienting. So I was just like, finally I just decided to pull over and sleep in the car. And so I slept in the car in the driver's seat, all kind of curled up in a really awkward position for about 4 hours or something like that. And then we got back on the road, and finally about 6 hours later, oh my god, we finally found some place to camp. It was suitable, but it was blazing hot. It was so hot. And oh my gosh, but we did finally find a really beautiful place to camp. No trees, of course. Oh my gosh, No trees. We went to the desert. Are you kidding me? We went to the desert. This is where trip planning would come in handy. Unfortunately, my husband has a very fly by the seat of your pants sort of way about planning. But we're working on it. We're working on it, right? So anyway, experiencing all of this, just exhausted. Finally get a place to camp and just, it was the full moon. It was in July. Yeah, the full moon. It was just insane. It came up right over this hill that we decided to camp at. We were so exhausted we didn't even know what direction we were pointed at. And here comes the full moon up over the hill. We had pointed the tent door just right there, looking over this hill. Kind of scary thinking about bears and such, but we have a German Shepherd, and she's pretty good about hanging out with us and just being chill and quiet, marking her territory, but just being kind of calm and quiet, which is a good thing. Anyway, headed up to Driggs, Idaho, and hung out with some of our really close friends, my husband's, as he calls them, brothers, and just did a lot of camping and did some floating down the river and stayed in Teton Canyon on Driggs, Idaho side of the Tetons. Drove up to Jackson Hole, which was a lot of fun. And saw the Elk Wildlife Refuge, just these massive grasslands. I didn't see any elk, but it was just absolutely gorgeous, and the Tetons were right there, and it was just amazing to get to witness these mountains. And yeah, it was just every day, just when I finally got there, I think I finally had started having really good days, and we got settled in the camp, and I just kind of started to really just kind of relax and sleep in, and not run anywhere, try to press to go anywhere. Just really enjoyed relaxing and walking up and down the river with my walking sticks. The water being so cold, so just like healing. So, I think, and I've talked about this in some of my other videos, but, just finding things that we love, that light us up, that help us to relax. And learning to let things go. I think that's the main message of this whole summer for me. The more I let things go, the more I just completely center myself. And whatever way that looks like for you, the way that looks like for me is different for everyone, I guess, but mine has to do with just really praying and in my heart and throughout the day, and I think art for me is really centering, and then music for me is centering. So we all have something that is centering, something that maybe we've lost touch with or forgotten about, but I think that the more we get in touch with that part of ourselves, the better able we are to manage our stress, our lives. And so breathing is very, very important. And I think it's really important that we take intentional breaths. So just, spending time just sitting outside without, our devices, these things, you know. And detaching from that is so healthy. And so I really had a great time just detaching and letting go. But alas, I still have this condition, and there were some days that were really a struggle. And but overall, like I said, I think the main message is just to surrender and let go, and to find what makes you drive, you know. Well, from there, we my husband had a series of seizures at the end of our trip, and that's, I guess, another story for another day. But you know, the main thing is that no matter what's going on with all this, is that we just take time for loving yourself just the way you are, you know, and we'll just keep praying for a miracle, praying for a cure for this dystonia. Let's diss the dystonia. We should diss the dystonia, don't you think? And the more we can just set our minds on other things, and, you know, there's certain scripture, set our mind on things above.
Oh my God, are you still doing that?
It's time for me to go to bed, folks. My husband has just walked in the room. Oh. I love you, my dear. Oh.
Love her.
He's picking up his moccasins that I made him. Been working a lot. That's one of those things that I was just talking about. You know, take your time. Take time for investing in something that is important to you. And, you know, despite this stupid little condition, my heart burns for art and for learning new things and for exploring and for singing, writing songs. You know, the time is now. We have no time to lose. We have no time to lose. So, you know, nice little pops through here. My shoulder's going again. This has been interesting lately. You know, give ourselves the time to rest. I think that's really important, and that's something that I really enjoyed this summer, is just getting to rest. Giving myself time and permission to rest. Feeding myself with all the good things in life. And I think also sharing love with other people, you know, like yourself. Encouraging others. Sharing the good stuff. You know, we can complain all day about the bad stuff, but sharing the good stuff, you know, really helps us to let go. So I encourage you to surrender and let go. Find those ways to love yourself. And, you know, through the pain, just keep breathing. As Dory would say, just keep swimming, right? Just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Take intentional breaths and release and relax and surrender and love yourself. All right. I love you guys. More to come. I will share more. Many blessings.